Yeah. All right. Welcome to the Matrix Sync. Will, what's going on in backend land?
Hi. Firstly, a quick introduction because I haven't spoken on this call before. I am the new engineering manager for the Synapse backend team. And our recent highlights include, last week we released Synapse v 192.1 and 192.2. The former of which is the first stable release, including the changes in the prior release candidate, which is great, plus a fix for a minor CI-related issue due to Ubuntu Kinetic reaching end of life, and thus all of its repos and such leaving the face of the earth. The latter is a Docker-only update to mitigate against the vulnerability recently found in libwebp, which leads me on to my next point nicely, in that we found out that Python Wheels bundles that same library statically. So we've released a new patch update today, 192.3, to take care of the libwebp version once and for all. So got there in the end. A bit of a nuisance there, but we encourage all admins and to upgrade as soon as possible to that. In brighter news, finally, we've added the ability to automatically purge a room after all the local users have left / forgotten, depending on your terminology, the room, which is really good. And I think people have been looking for that one for a while. This doesn't yet include rooms that have already been forgotten prior to this, but it will do in the future. And this functionality will be available in the next RC.
So this just purges it locally for the given home server or across federation? Are we redacting events in the room, or are we just removing it locally?
If Mathieu is in the room, he can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he is. I understand it was just for the local server.
All right. Yep. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I can clarify that. Cool. That is everything on the back-end side.
All right. Count portability / Dendrite / sliding sync / all sorts.
Yes. Hello. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, great. So last week we were focusing on some stability improvements in sliding sync, as well as the odd bug fix or two, particularly around OIDC, so how that interacts with Matrix Authentication Service. I've been working a bit more on account portability things, specifically pseudo IDs and crypto IDs. Pseudo IDs have been trying to just make it a bit more robust and stable and making it pass more tests, PSI tests in particular. And for crypto IDs, we've been doing just more spec work to try to figure out exactly what kind of shape we want it to look like. This week, we're going to be doing some more crypto ID design work. And actually, what I haven't mentioned on here, we're going to be doing a bit more pseudo ID work as well, specifically checking that pseudo IDs work with all the complement tests as well. And for sliding sync, there'll be one or two more extra bug fixes, but other than that, that's about it. It's pretty samey this week.
All right, thank you.
Keegan and Neil, if you don't mind, I do have a question about sliding sync proxy. I've been following the releases on with my RSS reader, so subscribing to the tags on GitHub, and I've seen a few things like there is a 0.99.9c and then a 99.10, and then there were another 0.99. So I'm not sure what's going on with the versions. Should I go with the 0.99.10 or something else?
So 0.99.10 and latest main are the bleeding edge versions of the proxy. The 0.99 A, B, C, and so on, they are effectively hotfix releases for all the extra element stuff that we've got flying around. So you can use either. I guess I would say 99.10 and main would be, it is more up to date than the other versions in terms of additional features.
All right, Specland, who wants to lead us through it?
I suppose I can. It's not much of an update, but we have a new MSC, role-based access control. Folks might remember that there are 3, if not 4, MSCs in this area, but this is the latest version of it. This one works with state resolution. If that is a thing that you're interested in, please take a look at it and let us know if you have any feedback. It is very, very server focused. Clients might not see a whole lot of value in it at the moment. The other MSC sort of on the final comment period docket here is specifying content disposition for media. This fixes effectively some security issues. Again, if you have thoughts, please let us know before it enters final comment period, or ends final comment period rather. But otherwise, we are continuing the IETF and DMA adventures, which is where role-based access control comes from.
Very good. Thank you. You're fighting the good fight there. All right, into VoIP land. We've got some pictures.
Yep. Can you hear me? That's the evergreen from the VoIP team, right? Asking, can you hear me? So this week, it's about polishing a lot and also having good news. So we have landed the PR from Dave, switching to the Matrix RTC session layer in the JS SDK. The main advantage here is that we now can adapt to changing room state and to adapt also to potentially changing SFU configuration and information. This is pretty cool. And alongside with that, this PR also allows to run element call, at least on Safari in background. So you can attend a call and it's not terminated after a timeout. That's also pretty cool. And what you can see here is basically that we are adapting the new design language in element call. And I heard there will be a release this week, so you can expect a lot of new UI elements and also interwork between the Element X application and element call. And there's a short for your information. We try to nail down an issue with respect to the acoustic echo cancellation, and it turned out it's a regression in Firefox. So going forward, please just use Chrome. We'll inform you once Firefox is back again. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, into Element Land. Johnny, you want to tell us about the rich text editor?
I can do. Last week we have fixed in the core library the issue with the unnecessary escape characters that you might have seen in the Markdown output of the plain text body. And then on Android, we've added link support to the Compose library, and we've added some customization options for links and code. And we've also fixed a performance issue caused by excessive recomposition in the Compose library. And then on iOS, we fixed fonts and enabled placeholder to be customized. And this week, we're just going to continue on polishing and bug fixes.
Very good.
Yes.
All right, Andy, what's going on in web?
Hello. Yeah. So we've been having fun and games with the new room header. So this is a feature that changes the way the rooms look, makes them look much nicer, which is still in labs. So not unexpectedly, there are still some problems with it. We were about to turn it on. I just had turned it on develop, and then realized that there's some kind of missing features. There's some bits of the app you can't get to. So we're probably going to turn it back off again on develop. It was never coming that soon to main releases. This was just to kind of bed it in, help us bed it in. It's been very successful in that. Some of these visual changes have come along with problems. So we're going around smashing some of those bugs. We're also plugging away on stuck notifications. We are basically writing lots of tests that check all the different scenarios that this problem can happen, finding actual examples of the bug, which is really exciting because it means once we fix the test, we know we fixed the bug. So that will be great. We're also continuing with the goal to move, which is moving to OIDC for all our authentication. But currently we're helping out Matrix Auth service before we come back onto doing that support in Element Web as well. And that's it from us.
I'm enjoying the stuck notifications tracking issue where you're showing the graph just to show that you are building out these tests. So it's
Yeah, that's it. That's just to keep you happy. I'll be faking that graph once a week.
All right. Let's talk about Android and Android X or X Android, Element X Android.
Good afternoon, everyone. So on Android, regarding the current application, we made some changes for users who are connected using OIDC. And for Element X Android, we are actively preparing the next release. So it will include a better performance for the home list display, especially after a cold start. So yeah, it's really faster than before. So that's awesome. We have integrating element calls. So this is the first iteration. So the application is now able to open any element call link for a more embedded experience. We are also iterating on the French and German translation for a better experience for users speaking French and German. We have a new screen to change the display name and the avatar of the user. And on the timeline, there is a new decoration for messages sent in threads. So the user can identify such messages, and if they reply to messages like this, the reply will be sent to the thread. So it's a first step to support thread. In the future, we will, of course, have a full support of thread. I can't say when, but it's on the roadmap. And yeah, there is a new advanced setting screen just to disable rich text editor. If you want to type Markdown manually, you can do it by disabling the rich text editor. And for the rest, the polls have been polished again. So nice icons on the timeline and some other tweaks. And finally, the app will get a brand new icon, and we also add the support to the monochrome icon. If the user have an Android 13 device and the themed icon are enabled, Element X will be rendered as the other themed icons. So that's again a better experience for the users. And that's pretty all for Element X Android.
Very nice. Are you expecting to submit the app today? Is that the plan?
Yeah. So the latest pull requests are under review. So yeah, the target is to submit it at the end of the day.
Cool. All right. Thank you. Good luck.
Thanks.
All right. Into iOS land.
Yeah, so with some updates also for Element X iOS. Well, pretty much I will say that since now Element X Android and Element X iOS are pretty much working on the same things, we're probably gonna hear out the same updates that we're not just made.
Yeah, we should just combine them.
That's really nice. But yeah, that's actually great since now we are so close together to applications. And pretty much what we did is, rewrite the deep linking system on Element X. This will allow support for the upcoming implementation element call to support the deep links coming from it. Messages that now belong in threads will actually be decorated with this thread decoration, telling you that you can actually, that message belongs to a thread. And of course, the UI will actually also communicate when you try to do a reply that you're also going to reply to that specific thread when with such action. Also, notification settings are now fully enabled now, so they're not something that they're just for the nightly version of the app, but will be actually also in the end in the release version. They're fully enabled, also alongside RT. However, RT is still something that the user can turn off or turn on at their art contempt if they still want to use just the plain text editor, essentially. It's something that we added into the revamped settings for the user. So now there are more options alongside, for example, viewing the source of a message or enabling RT. And now the user profile is actually also editable in the settings of Element X. Other things we fixed is essentially push notifications. We're not really parsing the markdown and HTML content. So sometimes you will see the markdowns inside the content of the push notifications. Now they get parsed correctly and displayed as plain text as they should be, essentially. And also we did some improvements on the side of the accessibility of the app. Now the accessibility elements should be grouped correctly in some places. And of course, we did various bug fixes alongside updating the icon of the application. And that's pretty much it.
Cool. Same question to you. Are you planning to submit? Are you still on track to submit today?
Yeah, I think we just need to check the last PRs, but yeah, I think we are on track.
Cool. Good. Are you feeling better, by the way? I understand you were sick last week.
Yeah, I'm feeling better finally.
All right.
Was or flu.
All right. Well, glad to hear it. QA, Michael K.
Hi there. So no particular news from the land of test coverage. Everyone keeps stuff nice and stable. That's good. In terms of what the QA team have been up to, helping out as ever with Element X release planning, that sort of thing, doing it last week, do it again next week. And as well as that, I've been doing a bit of work in the land of Traffic Light to make it more obvious how to run it if you're trying to run stuff individually, like one-off on your developer laptop, rather than have something sitting in the cloud and running. So hopefully I'll find a nice way to go and make that happen, and it'll be easier for people to run it.
Very nice. Thank you. Okay. Rust SDK.
Yeah, hi. Lots of stuff was done last week. Multiprocessor IDC token refresh. So your notification process on ISLand can communicate with the server if your token times out as well. Fixing some smaller fixes on the crypto side. Initial preparation for Quad-S. I think one PR can be merged. Another PR will spawn up soon. And yeah, coming up this week, we are doing a bunch of smaller fixes for the release, some crypto-related fixes, some sync indicator fixes, so we can configure the delay, how long it will not show the sync indicator. The app can choose now themselves how long they want to hide that indicator. And yeah, hopefully we have something relatively stable for the releases.
Okay. Well, it says backup support might start. Is that key backup?
Yeah. That's. I hope to finish my Quad-S PRs this first half of the week, and then backup support starts.
All right. Very exciting. Cool. All right. We'll skip over Hydrogen, and I guess relatedly then encryption. Who's going to speak to that? Is that you as well, Damir? Or Valère? Or
yeah, hello.
Should be Valère. Yeah.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, basically we are like merging the last PRs to be able to enable Rust crypto on web on develop. So we have a bunch of PR to merge, and last one to encrypt the database. And after that, we should be able to enable Rust on develop.element.io. So to test it, you will have to log out and log in, because currently only new logins will use the Rust crypto. So it should be live next week. So we will make noise when it will be available.
Very good.
And yeah, other than that, we're working on having the signed key backup working for Rust and Element X. Like I think Damir talked about it already. So some groundwork, and then implementation of the new signed backup. And that's it for crypto.
All right, thank you. Really looking forward to getting WebAR on develop. Okay, bridging.
Hello. Yeah, it's a bit of a quiet week. We've been busy working away. So we've had a hookshot delay on our release because there's an issue on the dependencies. and we felt it was worth delaying by a few days or so to figure out how we're going to do it. Nothing too terrifying, but we want to spend time on it, so expect to release this week. Me and Andrew will bang our heads together and solve the problem. Also, advocacy is unearthing one of my PRs from like 2019, MSCs rather, and we're going to look at how we can make that a success. This is about doing, well, I'll let Fib explain what it's going to do, but it's going to be exciting work.
All right, I like this building intention in the narrative arc of Matrix, the Matrix Inc. Very good. Okay, Quentin, tell us about, it's exciting times in MAS, right?
Yeah, it is. We're moving quite fast. So even 2 weeks after the first 0.1.0 version, we got a 0.2.0 version of the off service. So that includes like the better content screens that I've been showing around the past few things, and also the required APIs to do a bunch of automation to provision users and access tokens. Aside from that, we've made the client registration a bit less strict. So if you're a client already supporting OIDC, that might be interesting for you. So before we were enforcing that all the URIs, so for the logo, the privacy policies and stuff like that, we're all on the same domain name. And now that restriction is a bit less strict, you can have stuff on subdomains. So you can, for example, have element.io as your client URI, but host your logo on some subdomain on static.element.io, for example, and have your redirect URI be app.element.io, for example. That's already useful for the Element X teams that who wants to move to universal links for their redirect URI, and they had a bunch of conflicts with using the element.io domain for that. Also, a lot of small internet changes and bug fixes. I think the most interesting one that really scratched my head this week was one that was related to HTTP 1.1 keep alive stuff that the Synapse team helped me debug in MAS. I still haven't gotten around to test Synapse and MAS with Complement last week, but that should hopefully happen this week, as well as helping Tib on a blog post about the whole OIDC stuff on matrix.org.
Very cool. Yeah, it'd be nice to get some exposure on your work in the broader Matrix community via the blog post. All right, Tib.
Yes, that's me. So last week, I finally finished the implementation of the Matrix server list, which is basically a list of all the public instances accepting registration for people who would want to move away from matrix.org. I have not yet merged it. Before that, I want to make sure that I've got the data automation in place. So that means I don't want to have a completely outdated list of servers. So I want a CI to update that for me, because I got in the field because I was told that computers can work for us. So I don't want to do the work. Anyway, we need to do a soft launch of that and get opt-in from the public instances admins to get listed in that list, and then do a broader announcement. But there are a few big news coming later this week, so we are not going to do that quite yet. I'm keeping an eye on MSC 1929, which could be very useful for the Matrix server list. And last week there was a Matrix Live on deleting state with Andy. Coming up this week, a post on better authentication sessions management and permissions in Matrix. Basically, this is for people who know that we already support OpenID Connect in Matrix, but not that kind of OpenID Connect. So it can be a bit confusing, so I'm working with Quentin to make it a bit more clear and why it's a big deal for the future of Matrix. Additionally, if I have enough time, I want to do the same kind of data automation for the clients section of the matrix.org website, because at the moment it's just a static list of things, and it would be really neat if we could update, the release date of the various apps automatically. And I think there might be a Matrix Live coming with Matthew, but I'm not really sure. And of course, at the end of the week, there is the Matrix Community Summit. And that's it from me.
All right, very good. Josh is here, but he's not here. he's here in listen only mode. All right, I think that's everything. Good luck, folks. See you next time.
See you.